Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, here to dispel a big myth that has been pushed before this Andre Ward versus Carl Froch fight, including the fighter himself claiming that he's coming to knock out the other guy, right? But remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Now, there are opinions and there are facts. In the Showtime stare down, Carl Froch looks across the table, and it's great stuff. And he tells Andre Ward that he's coming to knock him out. And Carl Froch points out that Ward was down earlier in his career, years ago, against a non-puncher, and Ward himself admits that he was hurt in that fight for a couple of rounds, right? You know, the inference is that Carl Froch is a huge puncher and that he by far is the big puncher in this fight, and only he has a chance at a knockout. Let me tell you, both guys have a chance at a knockout. Carl Froch hasn't knocked anyone out for 2 years. You know, let's think about it, right? Carl Froch was losing to Jermaine Taylor years ago, multiple, right? He was losing to Jermaine Taylor by something like 4 rounds on 2 of the judges' scorecards. He needed a knockout to win that fight, and he got the knockout in the waning seconds. Now, I'm not a Carl Froch hater. If you go through my videos here online, you'll see that I actually picked Froch in an upset over Jermaine Taylor, in part because of Froch's power. But understand, as Froch has stepped up in competition, his power has dissipated, right? When he fought Jean Pascal before fighting Jermaine Taylor, Jean Pascal went the distance, right? He fights Jermaine Taylor, he gets a 12th round stoppage. Now, since then, he's fought a bevy of guys: Andre Durrell, Arthur Abraham, Mikkel Kessler, Glenn Johnson. And he not only has not gotten a knockout, Carl Froch hasn't gotten a knockdown, right? Ask yourself, who's more elusive in the ring? Andre Ward or Arthur Abraham? Ask yourself, who's more elusive in the ring? Andre Ward or Mikkel Kessler? Andre Ward or Glenn Johnson? Andre Ward or Jean Pascal? Because all of the names I just mentioned have gone the distance with Carl Froch. What I want people to do is I want people to actually look at the quality of opponents that these two guys have fought, right? Some guys get a lot of knockouts earlier in their career when they're facing lesser non-world-class competition, right? Andre Ward didn't have that luxury. If you look at Andre Ward's career, you're going to see that Andre Ward, in fewer fights, fought better competition than Carl Froch coming up. Not surprisingly, Andre Ward doesn't have the KO percentage that Carl Froch has. Now, that might not be a reflection of any difference in their ability to knock out world-class competition, because quite frankly, the record shows that both of these guys are more technicians than knockout punchers, right? Rather, the lower knockout percentage might simply reflect the fact that a higher percentage of Andre Ward's fights coming up were against more seasoned vets than those who fought Carl Froch, right? So I would invite everyone, YouTube Nation, I'd invite both, YouTube Nation, to look at the records of both fighters and to also consider the possibility that if one of these fighters gets overwhelmed by a bevy of punches, that in fact it might not even be punching power that might trigger a KO or TKO. It might actually be volume and hand speed, right? We've seen this in Manny Pacquiao fights. Take a look at Pacquiao's stoppage of Miguel Cotto in the 12th round. When Cotto's on his feet, Cotto's completely coherent, but Manny Pacquiao's throwing a volume of punches, right? Well, ask yourself, who has the faster hands in this fight? Right? Who can come in and overwhelm you quickly with volume? I would argue, first of all, that in terms of coming inside to overwhelm you with volume, Andre Ward is actually better at coming inside than Carl Froch, who likes to fight from distance like Amir Khan, right? I think Andre Ward is more likely to come inside than Carl Froch. In terms of hand speed, I don't believe it's close. I believe that the hand speed advantage clearly belongs to Andre Ward. In terms of angles, both guys are two-handed. Both guys are savvy technicians. But Andre Ward can switch to southpaw. In other words, there's a whole skill range that Andre Ward has that, quite frankly, I think the public is discounting here. So, let's break it down in terms of betting strategies. I believe there's a possible three-way straddle here because I do think both guys could win by KO. Not one, but both. Right now, you're actually getting, believe it or not, 8-1 odds on Andre Ward to win by KO. You're getting 7-1 odds on Carl Froch to win by KO. And curiously enough, right, we're staying away from the minus 350 Andre Ward to win the fight. You actually get minus 200 odds on Andre Ward to win by decision. I've never seen Andre Ward outboxed in a fight. I have seen Carl Froch outboxed a few times, right? Jermaine Taylor, for example, was outboxing Carl Froch when they fought, right? There are stretches of the Jean Pascal fight where Jean Pascal is outboxing Carl Froch, right? I don't believe Carl Froch wins a decision against Andre Ward. So the outcome I'm eliminating is Carl Froch by decision. So here you have an interesting straddle attempt. I believe sometimes you want to play for the win and ensure, just break even if the most likely outcome happens. So my point to you is this: given that neither of these guys, neither of them, have been getting a lot of KOs of late, right? Neither of them. Given that reality, I believe the most likely outcome in this fight is Andre Ward by decision. But, right, I believe you can set up a bet where if Andre Ward wins by decision, you break even. But if Andre Ward wins by KO, which is a distinct possibility, or if Carl Froch wins by KO, another possibility, you make a profit. So, hypothetically speaking, just food for thought, we'll break it down in terms of dollars. If I have $30, right? If I bet 20 on Andre Ward to win the fight by decision, I would win 10, right? That's what a minus 200 is, right? Well, I can then, hypothetically speaking, right? This is for entertainment purposes only. I can then put $5 on Carl Froch by KO. And I could put $5. This is in anticipated winnings. I could put $5 on Andre Ward by KO. Here's what'll happen. Okay? If Andre Ward wins the fight by decision, I bet 20 to win 10, which I lose on the KO props. I break even. Right? That's the insurance play. If Carl Froch wins by KO, right? I lose the 20 that I've bet on Andre Ward by decision. I lose the 5 that I've bet on Andre Ward by KO. But I win 7 times 7. Excuse me, I win 7 times 5. I win $35, right? Minus the 25, I net 10 on a Carl Froch KO, right? If Andre Ward wins by KO, I lose the 20 on Andre Ward by decision. I lose the 5 on Carl Froch by KO, so that's 25 down. But I win 8 times 5, 40, minus the 25, I win $15. Right? If you like to hedge play, if you like to straddle play, and I know I'm going to get a bunch of people who say straddles don't work. Right. I'm going to get a lot of people who say straddles don't work. And of course, after the fight, whatever the outcome, I'm going to have a lot of people say, oh, you would have made more money betting on that specific outcome. The point I'm making to you is this is a competitive fight by literally structuring the bet where you're only at risk if Carl Froch wins a decision against a guy who hasn't lost ever professionally and who I don't believe has lost as an amateur since he was 14 years old, then I say structure the bet so that's the only loose thread, right? I think both guys have a shot at a knockout. I think Carl Froch is a little bit delusional to believe that he has a decided edge in getting the knockout. But of course, as a gambler, I want the upside if Carl Froch does get the knockout. So I actually like the Andre Ward by decision, Andre Ward by KO, Carl Froch by KO prop. Let me know what you think. Both of these guys are more technicians than KO punchers at this level. Leave your comments for me here on YouTube. Visit us at predictboxing.blogspot.com and at gamblersadvisory.com. Thanks for watching.